flames. Yes, there are such things as a twin flame. Yes, there absolutely are. All right. Now, what was the second part of the question?
The question
Can
was,
you break it?
can you break that? Yeah, can you break that
Yeah,
tie?
it's the nature of a twin flame to break up and go back and forth and break up and go back and forth together because twin flames, what you're getting is a reflection. What you're getting is a reflection of yourself. All right, because in the dynamic of the twin flame, you're really sharing a soul. You're the same soul. All right, and so and often it is masculine and a feminine, and boy, it'll often come in when a couple has been with together for many years, and the dynamic is one energetically where a twin flame will come into a relationship that has been a soulmate relationship and we'll come into that whole dynamic. And the twin flame adds a dynamic of emotional energy that can really only be had from the twin flame simply because you're talking about the same soul. And so there is an energy, a certain dynamic of energy there that it just kind of fits in it, but it acts upon itself, right? It is easy to, what shall we say, be out of control in the midst of a twin flame relationship. Yes, you can break it, and you would break it because often twin flame relationships really often only happen to people if, like we say, when they're 50 plus, maybe more, maybe 60, sometimes 70, where all of a sudden someone will have been in a steady, normal, loving relationship for a great many years, and all of a sudden one or the other of them meets someone and just goes completely, emotionally batshit. Spiritual term again, but yeah, yeah. Did we answer your question?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. Now I got a question. Now
Yeah.
I know twin flames, separate, come back together, separate, come back together. Now, what about cutting the actual ties?
What do you mean by cutting the actual tie?
Cutting the cords, cutting those cords.
You can do that on a metaphysical level, and certainly it will help you in that sort of way. But ultimately, it really comes down to having to make the choice yourself.
Okay, now would it cause
To having to transcend that automatic template that you find yourself falling in if you happen to meet someone that is of that energy.
okay, now would it by severing those cords, would it make a situation more chaotic?
It might.
Okay.
Again, you have to understand there are no coincidences.
That's true.
Right? If this is something that is happening to you, this is something that you and the other or the others have put in your path in order for you to deal with in this lifetime. So if you understand that that dynamic of energy that's behind it is not really going to go away, sure, you can turn your back on it. You can have all, that it's where does your loyalties lie? Are you just are you going to go for the overly passionate and out of mind kind of energy that comes along with that twin flame dynamic, or are you going to maintain the dynamics of your sanity and you're going to stay within the dynamic of a long-term relationship? Basically, because of so many reasons. But it really comes down to how you have been living your life and what you wish and what your expectations are. There's the energy itself, but then there's how you respond to that energy. So there's always choice, Susan.
But we were talking about it, a friend of mine, and we're talking about cutting those ties. And she said
Well,
sometimes if you cut them, it makes it more chaotic. And she said
no,
sometimes
but
it's
that's
best to just let
true.
it.
If you can cut it and the emotional reason for it to be there is still there, you know,
Hmm.
when we have often said that the dynamics of energy, if you can imagine that you are each connected by threads of energy, you as a group here, just by coming together in the way that you do, you are all connected. And so there is a certain understanding and a certain communication that comes from that knowing and a certain, what shall we say, a certain safety and a certain camaraderie that comes from that dynamic that it's very difficult to find in your world these days.